Hello, everyone. My guest today is Ian O'Rourke. He's been involved in technology and businesses and startups for over 22 years and has built businesses in Australia, Taiwan, Silicon Valley, and the UK. Today, he's working on Adthena, and he's been doing that since 2012, building it to its current position as the premier global provider of competitive intelligence. While Adthena itself has won many major industry awards, Ian's entrepreneurial determination has also been recognized with the Developing Entrepreneur Award at the WCIT Enterprise Awards, commonly regarded as the Oscars for technology entrepreneurs. Ian, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am. Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right. For the folks that have not heard about Adthena, tell us what you guys do and how you make money. What's your revenue model?
Okay, so we're a classic SaaS business. In essence, what we do is we use insights about your competition in search marketing to drive customer acquisition for yourself. Tends to work with fairly serious, large enterprise search advertisers are doing a lot of B2C customer acquisition. So the likes of Hotels.com, Toyota, BMW, Progressive, various big B2C organizations across the world.
Mm-hmm. So you're very much in the kind of high-touch enterprise space versus low-touch, high-volume.
Yes.
Got it.
We tend to be inside sales predominantly, and we will sell fairly short sales cycles to marketing teams.
What's short?
So 60 days.
Oh,
roughly.
wow. Okay. And what are you selling? What's the average customer paying per month, would you say?
So our average is roughly $50,000 per annum.
Okay, $50,000 a year.
Yeah, and that goes up and down.
Sure.
Like there's some very large customers and some slightly smaller than that. But we're really used by organizations where search is an important acquisition channel.
Yep. Now, when was the company created? When was it launched?
So we legally founded the business at the end of 2012 and commercially launched it at the start of 2013.
Okay, and what was happening in between there? Just building out the dev, hiring the team, things like that?
Yeah, just getting started for a few months there. It was really only a couple of months, but I like to think of us as being out in market doing commercial things at the start of 2013.
And did you bootstrap the company or you raised capital right away?
Yeah, so we have no institutional funding. So I tipped in a little of my own money and business partners, and then we have taken on a couple of angels here and there, and we have a quite famous investor did our Series A, in the guy who was the original chairman and investor in Candy Crush, a guy called Mel Morris, came in and did our Series A personally and is a 6-time successful entrepreneur. And so he's been sitting on the board and helping us greatly. But in essence, we're not VC backed.
Yep. So total kind of capital in the company today, what have you guys raised in total?
Around about $5 million.
Okay, $5 million USD. And where would you say most of that has gone? Kind of engineering team or user acquisition or both?
It gets spread really, engineering and sales and marketing.
Okay. Break down this kind of machine. It sounds like you mentioned inside sales a few times. What's the team size today and how many of them are focused on the inside sales?
Good question. So the team overall, we have offices in Austin, Texas, London is the headquarters, and Sydney in Australia. And we're probably 80 plus people who's in inside sales. I think there's probably 15 to 20 people.
Okay, so pretty healthy. I call it 25-30% of the company dedicated to inside sales. That's great. When did you hire your first inside sales rep, and how did you work out the initial economics of what the ramp should look like, what quota should be, things like that?
That's a good question. I found it very useful to have benchmarks. So I think Insight Ventures does a periodic table of sales when field and inside, and so you could look at the benchmark ratios on that. And then places like Sastra have a whole lot of blog posts about how to structure comp plans. I have a sales background. I used to be a director of sales running a whole Asian operation out of San Francisco, so I had a reasonable idea of it, but then I had to translate my old time on-premise sale, perpetual license selling to the SaaS model.
Selling SLAs and maintenance contracts, right?
Exactly. Selling a big bubble up and then moving on to the next one.
Yep.
But SaaS is a better arrangement than that, and there's a lot of thinking and a lot of testing that has to go on into how you design those comp plans, and then we've had to revise them as well. Each year we look at are they fit for purpose? Are they doing the right motivations and so forth? So we're getting better and better every year.
So when a salesperson, one of your salespeople today, is fully ramped, what's their target in terms of new ARR they add and call it a given quarter or given year?
I have to translate this into dollars. They're probably doing a bit north of $1 million.
Okay, that's their target.
Yeah, in a new biz environment. Yeah.
Yeah. So over a year, you want them kind of closing $1 million in new ARR.
Yeah. With more work, and it's different for different segments of the market and so forth. So we're working more on multiples of on-target earnings.
Tell us what that means.
So if you come in and you say, look, I want to earn 100 grand, so you're going to be 50 base, 50 on target, then we're going to say, all right, we need you to deliver 5 or 6 times that at least.
Yep. So you let them set their own. They'll come in and say, I want to make a 250 grand a year. You're going to say, okay, here's your 50% base if you agree that they're worth it. And then you're going to say, in order to get the other 50%, here's what you need to close a new ARR.
More that if the on target is 100, then the minimum we need in quota is 500.
I see. So
come say, look, I'm the best person in the world. I'm a bit more senior than everybody else. I've got a big book of business, a Rolodex, whatever, and I want to be paid 75. Then we're going to say, all right, well, knock yourself out. We're going to give you 5-6 times that in quota.
Yep. Not 5-6 times the 150, not the 75.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, good. So launched in 2012, obviously 6 months later today, what have you scaled to in terms of total customers on the platform now?
So we're a bit over 200 enterprises on the platform. Most of those are UK, Australia. I think we have a handful of really good clients in the US. We've been going in Austin for about 6 months now, and seen some really good pickup. And they're big brands like Progressive and Hotels.com and HomeAway and all of these sort of brands. So we're really impressed with both the caliber of the people we've got in Austin and the progress that they're making. We've scaled. We'll hit a little bit north of $10 million in ARR this year. We're growing. We grew 84% last year. We'll grow at 115% this year on target. At the moment, we're on target. And then we should organically do that again next year.
You said 115 growth target this year or 150?
No, 115.
Okay, and your goal is to break 10 million in ARR. What are you at? What did you do last month? What's your current run rate?
We're running at close to 7.5, 8.
Okay.
Closing out this month, we'll probably get closer to 8. All depends on the pound US dollar exchange rate, right?
Yeah.
So if I tell you in dollars, it might be a lot more, it might be less if the pound goes down.
Well, if we stay conservative and say 7.5 ARR run rate today, that means about 625 grand per month across that base. And where are you driving, as you go towards the $10 million mark, where are you driving most of that growth from? Is it expansion revenue across the 200 customers, or is it adding brand new customers?
It's adding brand new customers. Traditionally, we haven't done a lot of land and expand. Just pricing in our product is structured. That said, last year we did quite well on land and expand. So if people want to add additional terms, we had some additional mobile products. We've now got what we call a secret sauce is a whole market view, so we can tell any advertiser everything that's relevant to them at any point in time, so that they know their whole competitive landscape, whether or not they knew about it or not. So we do a lot of gap analysis and exploit that. We've now brought to a state view, so you can look state by state across the US. If I'm only really interested, or maybe I'm only licensed to do business in New York State for an insurance product, for example, then we can drill down on that now. Or maybe I'm running, we've got a big retailer running swimwear campaigns. They want to look at Texas, California, Florida, and New York, then we can break down that view of the whole market in each one of those states.
Ian, churn is critical in this kind of business. What's your churn today?
So we retain a bit north of 90%.
And that's revenue retention annually?
Yes.
Okay.
That's gross. Sorry, that's gross, not net retention. So net retention can be as much as 100% or more if we added in upsells and things like that. So we look at those two figures: gross dollar retention in the 90s, and then net dollar varies quarter to quarter depending on upsells. Quite sensitive to upsells. So
are you generally above 100% though? I mean, that would be meaning your expansion more than makes up any lost.
Yeah, not well. Because we only have 18 months of doing much upsells, it's still bumpy.
Yep.
Like we don't have a fleet of people doing the upsells, so we might do a really great quarter of upsells. So that quarter will be well over 100, and then we might do a really slack quarter of upsells, and that'll be under 100.
Walk me through fully diluted CAC. What are you spending to acquire a new customer?
Fully diluted CAC, last count in dollars, probably, I think it's roughly 30 grand.
Okay, good. So way so your payback period there is about 8 or 9 months if the ACV is 50 grand.
Yeah. I think the last figure I saw was around 4.5 ratio of LTV to CAC.
Okay, but payback, so 4.5 LTV to CAC, that's great. So called 120, you're assuming about 120, 140 grand in LTV, something like that. Yeah. How do you use that number? So if you know lifetime value is 140 grand, do you use that at all in business decisions, or is it just a number you have to have because everyone asks about it?
It's a bit of both, right? It's a bit of both. I like to look at it and see the improving health of the business, right? We just want to make sure we track all of the traditional SaaS metrics that people recommend, and we want to make sure that we're within the boundaries of sensible there, that we're not overspending on marketing and sales, or we're not underinvesting in it, that we've got growth rates that are going to get us at the right multiples of inflation. When we by the end of this year, we'll have been reasonably successful, adding several $1 million in the US market. So we've proven that our proposition works really well. It's marketed in the same way, it's sold in the same way, it's delivered in the same way across the US, which is obviously the largest market for us going forward. And then we can really step on the gas and accelerate that market.
Yep. Now, if you're growing at 115% year over year, that's your target here in 2018. Today, you're doing, call it 650 grand a month in revenue. Is it accurate to say about a year ago, you were doing, call it July or August 2017, doing about 350 grand a month in revenue?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
It's probably a little bit less than that.
And are you cash flow positive? Or are you still burning to drive growth? Where are you at?
So we don't burn a lot. We'll be cash flow accretive in Q4 this year. So we're on the trail. But we've continued, because we get paid up front. About 90% of our new business is upfront payments. So we use that to accelerate the investment in the product.
Okay.
So that we can develop faster releases.
So Ian, did I hear you accurately on it? From a cash flow perspective, you're cash flow positive each month?
We will be in Q4.
Oh, you will be in Q4. Okay. And what are you at today? I mean, are you negative 20% EBITDA? How much are you burning today?
Can't tell you off the top of my head, but it's not a huge amount. We probably fall within the rule of 40, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm asking, kind of taking your growth percentage, subtracting any negative net EBITDA to get your rule of 50, rule of 40.
Yeah. Even that said, I mean, there's a big businesses 40 for a long time, and there's the Pacific Crest guys, or the KeyBank guys now do the big SaaS survey, and even some of the stellar businesses that you saw fell outside of that rule for a while.
Yeah.
And then they start to improve different aspects of the business. So if I look at an interesting observation for us, at the moment we spend 25% of our data collection costs in the US market, but we only have 6% of our revenues. So I'm kind of making that big market have full coverage, have the number of customers to amortize that across just yet. But if I normalize that back, it would show me a much higher margin, which would thus change my lifetime value and my LTV to CAC ratio. So there's weird little things like that that you can really improve the unit economics.
Ian, we're out of time. Let's wrap up very quickly with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Number two, is Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
There isn't, but I watch everything Ben Horowitz has written, and David Cummings. I used to read his notes each day as well.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building your business?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I've got lots of them. At the moment, I'm going to be 7 geese because as a CEO, I'm about OKRs, I'm about alignment, and I'm about tracking progress. So from where I sit, that's my go-to tool for making sure that happens.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I think I get at least 5 or 6. Like
okay.
I get up pretty early. I go to bed pretty late.
So we'll call it 5.5. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married, 2 kids.
And how old are you?
How old? 37.
You said 37?
47.
47. Okay, great. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Yeah, man, so much this will take you half an hour. How to take a little bit more mature view of things and not get so hot-headed, perhaps.
Guys, there you have it. He would have, had a little more patience, not got as hot-headed as maybe he did back in the day. But look, it seems like everything's working now. 2012 launched Adthena. Again, really competitive, intelligence, results-driven, enables people like, call it clothing manufacturers to understand what's going on in maybe certain states if they want to drill down. But again, unique competitive intelligence for search specifically. The company is now over 200 customers paying, $3, $4, $5 grand per month, doing about 600, 700 grand per month right now in revenue, 7.5 million run rate, hoping to break 10 million in terms of ARR by the end of the year. They're growing about 115%. That's 115% year over year in revenue from 2017 to 2018. 90% revenue retention annually. That's on a gross basis. Net revenue retention flirts with 100% when averaged out. It's willing to spend up to $30,000 on CAC, which is about a 9-month payback period. CAC to LTV about 4.5, so $140,000 in lifetime value, or about 36 months is what he assumes. His team of 80 people based in Austin, London, and Sydney. Ian, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks very much.